Everyone wants to start a clothing brand, but most people fail because they don't know what they're doing and don't know the trials and tribulations that come with starting one. Lucky for you, I've been running my clothing brand 6Shooter for over 5 years now. I've ran into and overcome pretty much every single problem a clothing brand owner could face. So here's all the lessons that I have learned over the years. So the first step to starting a clothing brand is choosing a clothing brand name. Now, most people choose something that they think is cool, but it ends up just sucking and not being good down the line. Now, you might not know this, but most clothing brand owners, if they actually stick to it over the years, they probably rebrand at least once. I rebranded, I think, 1 or 2 times in my lifetime of running brands, and it's because my names didn't make sense, they sucked, and they weren't marketable. So you gotta make sure that when you are choosing a name, you're actually gonna like it 5 years from now, 10 years from now, even longer. It needs to be a timeless name. Next up, and this tip alone is literally gonna save a bunch of you guys probably a couple $1,000s, and that is avoiding Pakistan manufacturing. It is a known thing that Pakistan just scams clothing brand owners. I was scammed for about 3K back in the day because, I was oblivious. I was new clothing brand owners. I didn't know that they're like sketchy to work with, and I got a bulk order in and it was all messed up. I couldn't sell anything, lost like 3K. So please, if you're a new clothing brand owner, if you're talking to like some Instagram Pakistan manufacturer, please do not use them. They are most likely going to scam you. I really recommend that you guys use like China. China gets a bad rep, but they are literally so good. They have amazing quality. And if you find the right manufacturer, they will be a GOAT. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is pre-orders. Now, if you don't know what a pre-order is, it's pretty much where you buy just the sample of the bulk you do want to make. You market that sample without having the bulk, and then once you collect some orders, you buy the bulk and ship it out. There's good and bad with doing pre-orders. I honestly recommend that most people stay away from pre-orders. If you're new, you're probably not gonna know how to go about running it efficiently and actually correct where people don't think you're scamming. So I'd probably stay away from pre-orders. Pre-orders can be good for helping you build up money at the start of your brand because you're not gonna have a bunch of money to invest into pre-made stock. But honestly, it's just not worth the hassle. I would try to find a manufacturer with low minimum order quantity and just sticking to the pre-made route. Even if it kind of puts a cap on how much money you can make at the start, you kind of risk getting a Shopify Rico case. If you don't know what that is, pretty much if you get too many chargebacks because you're not shipping your orders quick enough, Shopify will literally shut your site down. They'll take all your money. Well, they won't let you take your money for like half a year, 6 months or something like that, and your brand will die. It's literally not worth doing pre-orders if you don't know how to run it efficiently. Next up, this is a little bit into the marketing side of running a clothing brand. It's how to build hype. Hype is one of the most important things with running a clothing brand, and it's pretty much everything. It's how much people actually care about your brand and how much people are, actually hyped up to buy something from you. So the way you build hype is scarcity and consistency with marketing. People need to be seeing your clothes over and over and over again, which means you need to be utilizing short form content, which means TikTok, Instagram. YouTube isn't short form, but I actually post on YouTube, obviously. People need to be seeing your clothes over and over again. So the way you build hype is you need to be posting every single day. And it's weird that most clothing brand owners don't actually do this or utilize this. You need to be posting 30 times, if not more, per month on different platforms. There's so many brands nowadays. If you're not being pushed into people's eyes over and over and over again, it's gonna be hard for you to actually compete with others. Now, with the scarcity part of it, if you have too much stock and people go to your site and they buy something super easily, they don't really feel too special. They don't feel like they got something special. But if you only have like 50 to 100 units and you're able to sell out on your drop day and people miss out on buying stuff, next drop, they're gonna be like, I need to be on that site so I can actually get what I need. This creates scarcity and hype. People are going to flock to your website on drop day. They're gonna make sure they're interacting with posts, trying to get discount codes and stuff like that. People are gonna start seeing that you're selling out and they're like, oh my God, I need to be quicker next time. So that's where marketing super consistently and having limited units helps you build up hype. Now, the next thing that I believe is literally the most important part of running a clothing brand, and honestly, it carries most clothing brand owners nowadays, it's honestly crazy, is the SMS list. SMS list is when you go on someone's website and there's like a little pop-up and it's like, sign up for a 10% discount code and we'll send you a text or something like that. That is the SMS list. That's them collecting your SMS phone number. What you can do with this is you can pretty much directly contact your customers without having to go through Instagram or TikTok and like fight with an algorithm to actually tell your customers that you have something coming out or you have something that is out. Now, I wish I focused on this earlier on and actually building up my SMS list because, oh my God, I've seen brand owners my size who have like 10,000 people on an SMS list and they'll do like 20, 30K in sales just through the SMS list alone, not even posting on Instagram or TikTok. just directly contacting the people is getting them so many sales. So you guys really need to focus on building up your SMS list. There's a bunch of different ways to do that. I'm not gonna go super in depth on that in that video, but I just want you guys to keep in mind SMS list building is so important. So the next thing I want to talk about is actually getting better at designing clothes. We talked about marketing and SMS and stuff like that, but if you don't have a good foundation, which is how cool the clothes are, then you're really gonna struggle with having a clothing brand. So what I recommend that most clothing brand owners do is that they design every single day. I don't really care how you do it. You can draw on a piece of paper and just like make little mock-ups. If you have an iPad like I do, you can use Procreate and design new logos and new pieces. If you use Illustrator or Photoshop, you can use that and design on there. You just need to be designing every single day. Being good at designing is like working out on a muscle. It's like the more you do it, the bigger your muscle is gonna grow, and the more you design, the better you're gonna get at designing. Designing every single day also gives you options. When you have more options, you can put together your best work. Instead of just relying on like 3 pieces that you designed over a month, you're gonna have 30 different items to choose from, and now you can actually move forward with your best creations. So I really recommend that you work out on your designs every single day, grow that muscle designing, and you're gonna get a lot better literally months from now. Now, something that's benefited me a lot and my clothing brand is being friends with fashion influencers. Over the years, since I'm into fashion, I've started following fashion influencers and also posting my own kind of fashion content, building my own personal brand. And that has really helped me build connections that have moved my clothing brand forward. I've also gone to fashion weeks like in New York, and I've gone to a couple of those. I've stayed with fashion influencers in hotel rooms and stuff like that, and just built up connections. And what this does is it gives you an easier access to getting people to market your clothes. Now, that's not the only reason I do it. I have genuine connections to these people, but being able to leverage people in that niche and being friends with people who can market for you to a community of people who would buy your clothes, it's so helpful. I've had influencers who I'm friends with, I've given them a pair of jeans and they've gone and posted in them and made me like 2K in sales just for free. And it's just so important. It's really helped me move forward, and it builds trust with your brand because people trust that influencer, you know what I'm saying? So try to become friends with fashion influencers, put yourself out there, trying to meet these people, and it's gonna benefit you a lot. Now, coming off of that note, working with fashion influencers who you're not actually friends with, some of them be scamming, bro. And I wanna save you guys some money and save you guys just time and a whole bunch of stress. If you're going to work with fashion influencers, you need contracts. If you're paying someone to market your clothes for you, you need to use contracts. Figure out how to make a contract. Go ask ChatGPT, bro. It's not hard. Figure out how to write a contract and have them sign it, what they need to deliver for you, and what you're paying them for that service. If you're not using contracts, it's just word of mouth. People don't always live up to what they say. You need to make sure that you're doing contracts if you're working with fashion influencers. I've lost money. I have friends who have lost money. Just listen to me on that one. Next up, I want to talk about how to actually get to your first 10K month. My first 10K month came about 1.5 to 2 years into running my brand. It took me a lot longer than other brand owners, but you know, I got there and now I'm doing well more than that consistently every single month, probably closer to 20 to 30K per month consistently now. If you actually want to get to that point, you can't just expect success super fast. Running a clothing brand, it's super hard, but so rewarding, and there's a lot of money to be made, but it takes time to get to that point. And if you follow everything I've said in this video, you can get there. It takes the hype and the consistency of slowly grinding, having low months and slightly higher months, low months, even higher months, and getting to the point where you're gonna have your first 10K month. And the way you're gonna get there is designing every day, making better pieces, promoting every single day, being super consistent, having that scarcity, people who are falling into the hype and trying to buy your clothes quicker and stuff like that. It all plays together, and if you do everything correct, you're gonna slowly get up to that 10K month. Some people will hit that very quickly. For me, I was sitting at around 1.5K in sales a month. Then eventually I got to like 4K. Then I had a crazy collection, which was like 7K, and then eventually I had like a 12K month, and now like one of my highest months is like over 30K. It takes time and consistently and slowly getting there, but you can do it, bro. It's so possible. There's so much money to be made. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is having an outside source of revenue to fuel your brand at the start. It's super cool to have the idea of I'm gonna drop out of college and I'm not gonna work a job. I'm just gonna work on my clothing brand. I'm gonna grind it and I'm gonna make a whole bunch of money. Sounds great. It's the dream. It's pretty much close to what I did, except I didn't go to college. I just went right into fully running my clothing brand. But it is hard to really profit and live off of your clothing brand in the early stages. You need to grow. Your goal should be growing and investing into stock and equipment and just making things move more efficiently. So what you need to do is you need a job, bro. Go get a job or find a way to make extra money so you can fuel your brand. At first, you need to be funneling money into the brand so it can grow quicker and make you more money quicker. You need to be buying samples and just inventory, and just there's so much stuff that goes into running a brand. You need money for it, and if you're living off of the money that is made from the brand, it's just gonna slow your growth down and it's not gonna be as efficient as it could be. I literally got a construction job when I first started running my clothing brand. I think actually a little bit later, like a year into running my clothing brand. I wasn't growing at the pace I wanted to. I got a job, started funneling like $500 to $1,000 per week into my brand, and then I was able to quit my construction job and work full-time on my brand. So I really recommend that you guys have an outside source of income before you go 100% into the brand. And that is everything I've learned over the years. There's so much more in my mind. Those are just some of the most important things I've really learned and think you guys can benefit from. Now, if you have a clothing brand or you want to start a clothing brand, I want to help you out. In the description, I have a free training link. You guys can go check it out. It is a 15-minute video of me explaining how I started my brand, grew it to the point where I'm now doing 20, 30K months consistently, and it's my full-time living wage. I have my own studio, and it's amazing. I've built a community of over 200,000 followers across my platforms, and I want to help you guys succeed, so please go check out that video. Now, if you've been running a clothing brand for a couple months now, maybe even a couple years, and you haven't grown at all, you're not scaling, you're not getting to that next level you really want to, I also really want to help you out. I'm taking on a couple students to help coach them up and get them to doing over 10K in sales per month. Now, if you are interested in that, go to the link in the description, and there's a link to apply to work one-on-one with me. I really hope you learned something from this video, and if you want to learn even more from me, check out the resources I just talked about, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.